Good Friday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather. So happy that you're here. I've had very little sleep, as many of you might have been a little restless last night, waiting for the winds to pick up. They are now upon us. They're just beginning. We're going to find those winds prolonged today. In fact, the National Weather Service has continued. They have maintained the actual high wind warning for the heart of the valley, and even the Smokies to a great extent, for the winds will be higher there. But this will last until 8 o'clock tonight. So the question that comes up, how long are these winds going to last? 8 o'clock tonight. Is it still going to be windy at 4? Yes. 2:30? Yes. Still going to be windy. 4 o'clock? Yes. So if you don't lose power this morning, you might lose it this afternoon, or maybe it flickers. But you can always be hopeful. We can be hopeful that the power stays on. But you can see the wind speeds, and I'm just paraphrasing, not paraphrasing, in quotation marks. The amount of wind that they think Knoxville could have is up to 65 miles per hour. I still think 45 to 50 is reasonable at a minimum, but I do want to share with you a little bit of differences because, again, 50, 65, that's a big difference. It is a big difference, but it's going to depend on track. I mentioned that last night. I said it's all about track, baby. And when you got winds of gusts of 80 in the Smokies, places like Mount LeConte, Clingman's Dome, Newfound Gap could have a wind gust around 80 miles per hour. This comes by way of the friends at the National Weather Service. So if that's the high wind warning, that's my lead. Let me show you where the winds are right now. We have a sustained wind of 17 at McGee-Tyson Airport. Some of you have noticed that we've gone into the double digits in the last couple of hours. Still in the single digits there in Crossville. Crossville's reporting a 9-mile-an-hour wind, and it's 11 in Rockwood. But I really want to know what's the Smokies doing. Well, you see some green there, so it's a little higher. Estimated, you could see wind gusts are over 40, maybe even closing in on 48 miles per hour, 49, maybe close to 50 on some of those peaks. So the Smokies themselves are also feeling the wind, and this is just the beginning. Because we know now Helene is now a tropical storm, no longer a hurricane. She was a hurricane, but now she's a tropical storm. We're going to look at that track. I also want to check in with your comments here. If you're feeling some wind this morning, let me know. If you've seen maybe some disruption in your power, let me know. I got a good morning from Steve Stone. He's got his smiley face, a very optimistic view of today, but we will get some showers and storms. We're still getting rain right now. And my friend Danny says, good morning, Friday morning. David, hope you have a great day. Go Vols. Fred's also on here. He's reporting at this time. Fred Wichabuck says he's got 70 degrees and it's breezy. He says it's breezy in Maryville. Thank you for that update in Blount County, Fred. Appreciate that. So those are the wind gusts. Those are the wind speeds. Where are they going? Well, clearly, far and away, it seems like an hour from now or less, 7:30, there could be 60 or 70 in Greenville, South Carolina. There could be 67 at the Biltmore, 67 around Asheville, or 63 in Columbia. That's what the models would suggest. Johnson City could have a 58-mile-an-hour gust. But I wanted to show you this progression. The potential for gusts 45 at 8 o'clock this morning is still on the table. So it's only going to get stronger as Helene makes its move here. By the way, Knoxville, it's back on the cone. I've been trying to tell the cone and the anticipation that I'm in the cone or I'm out of the cone means I'm okay or I don't have anything to worry about. If you're within spitting distance of the cone, you got an issue of wind. And you could clearly see they may not be in the cone in Charlotte, but they got wind gusts over 60. Do you see what I mean? So you've got to look beyond just the cone. The cone is a center of where the circulation may be. And this one moves it towards, say, maybe around Monroe County, maybe around Chattanooga, maybe Decatur. That seems to be, and then maybe into Knoxville. But look at the winds even up into Kentucky. I'm looking at Lexington there at 66 miles an hour. That's at midday today. So some of the winds may do-si-do all around us. The brown areas would be the stronger winds, and they're going to rotate around the low. If you think of this like a carousel, like a merry-go-round, oh, a rainy low round. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's a great analogy. A rainy low round. That's what we got. But we got a windy round because it's going around in that counterclockwise fashion. So the winds are, it appears to be 67 in Fayette County up there in Lexington around 12:45 this afternoon. So we're not done with the wind. If you woke up and say, oh, what a bust. He said it was going to be windy. It's not windy. Give it a few more hours. I won't even say give it a day. Give it a couple more hours because then you're going to be convinced. And if you lose power, then you're going to think, man, I wish I put some of my refrigerated items in a cooler. Maybe that would have been a smart idea. But anyway, I digress. Look where this storm is going. It's moving winds back toward Paducah by midnight tonight and into Saturday morning, and so it goes. So that's the wraparound. That's the wind gust expectation, as some of the modeling would suggest. Let's get to the rain situation. I know the winds tend to steal the show. Sometimes it makes more of the headline, but we have had a lot of rain last night. I've got some numbers here. How many of you like numbers? If you do, you come to the right place. On Wednesday, officially, And that's what I'm working with McGee Tyson. Officially Wednesday, 2.30. So 2 1/3, broke a daily rainfall record on Wednesday. We picked up 1.93 yesterday, not a daily rainfall record. We've been higher. And then 0.31 as of 6 a.m. this morning. So if you add those 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and the early hours of this morning, first 6 hours, we're up to 4.5, 4.54. And we're still not done with this storm. We still have more rain. We're talking about the amount of rain still yet to come, but because it's tropical, it could well exceed your expectations. You can clearly see the spin associated with Tropical Storm Helene rolling through Georgia right now, rolling through Georgia and making quite a mess. And it's all headed in this direction. The flood watch runs, actually that's an old banner. That should not say 11 a.m. Thursday. Maybe I could fix that on the fly. How did I miss that? No, I believe it's to go now till 2 p.m. this afternoon, but I digress. Let's see if it, oh yeah, 2 p.m. today, so we can put that up the top there. That is actually the new expiration time. My computer didn't update that, but I will go ahead and do that on the fly because until 2 p.m. today is the flood watch. And I want to make sure everybody knows that, so that means rivers, creeks, and streams could still have some issues. We could still have some big issues going on across the board. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. And you can clearly see that little, those little green polygons. There's still some aerial flooding going on at this time. For the plateau, it runs until 7 a.m. on Saturday. So that's plateau has different expiration time because the storm's going to be headed toward Kentucky and toward Paducah, and it's going to wrap around in Middle Tennessee. Visibility may be reduced because of the low cloud ceiling, but as far as temperatures, we're pretty warm. 69 to start. We'll finish about 76 today. My expectation is that we'll be in the mid-70s, and the sun's going to pop out. Did I mention that too? Yeah. In the morning, we got northeast winds. In the afternoon, it's southwest winds. It's a carousel, right? So northeast winds in the morning, southwest winds in the afternoon, about 15 to 35, gusting 45 to 50, and could see some isolated 60 or 65s. That's a possibility. And the dew point temperatures are swampy because we're seeing more closer to 70 there in Athens, as well as Sevierville, and even Morristown and Jacksboro. So the humidity is being transported north by our storm known as Helene. We have 74 degrees is my expectation for Oak Ridge today. This is my forecast. I have an 80% chance of rain. It should be 100. Well, maybe. But the fact that the sun's going to break out for a good part of the second half of the afternoon, you might say, well, 80 was sufficient. I guess 100 to 80%. But we're all going to get the rain, and then it's going to subside. And then the winds will just prevail. So once the sun pops out, you're going to get more transfer down from the surface, from aloft. So some of those winds will come down, and I suspect if it's 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, even 5 o'clock, you could still have gusts 45 to 50 in your town. Are we dealing with any deficit? Well, it's improved dramatically. There's no more coloring in Hamlin County, essentially Cock County, or even Claiborne, Hancock County, because they've had so much rain. Some of these areas that are not in the deficit have had anywhere from 5 to 7 to maybe even 8 or 9 inches of rain since Wednesday. So it's been an astonishing amount. Where the rain could be used or welcomed would be the Chattanooga area, because they're in red and orange. That would suggest a 2 to 3 inch deficit in just the last 30 days. So that just gives you an idea. The drought monitor that came out yesterday really doesn't reflect what we've had since Tuesday morning. So that may be not as helpful. But we've been under a drought, yes, but it's being chipped away as we speak. As far as the coolness, we hit 70 yesterday, started the morning off at 64. What a difference, right? We came off a 4-day heat wave starting last Friday. So a week ago today, we began a 4-day heat wave, and then all of a sudden, Helene has come to town. We had a stalled front on Wednesday, and look at this map, right? The ultimate Doppler radar presented by your local Marco's Pizza. Got to show you the fact that we have a high wind warning. We've got a flood watch in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon. But what's flashing? Why is that? I wonder, what do you think's flashing in North Carolina? Could that be tornado? No, that's actually an emergency flash flood warning. So they're getting so much rain so fast. The precipitation rate, the rain rate, as well as the precipitation duration has been so prolonged that they've got to keep this going in effect at 10:15 in the morning. Emergency, usually suggestive of the fact that we have water rescues, rising water. Now, if it's happening there, could it happen here? I think it's possible. It's very important to stay informed. If you don't have my free Captain Accurate Weather app, you really owe it to yourself to download it so that you get the information in real time. You really can't afford, I don't believe, I don't think you can afford not to get the information. You don't want to be looking for it on social media. If it affects your house or affects your household and your family, I want you to be informed and also make the informed decisions as they come down the road. Certainly a lot of high winds. That's going to be the issue. We had a flash flood warning last night that included Clinton. I believe that ran till 2:45. I did post that before I went to bed last night. But this rain just continues to parade in here. Would love to know what you're seeing. By the way, Marcos.com, great place to go if you're hungry, if the roads are passable, and you're looking for some lunch ideas. I do know they will deliver, assuming the weather is good for them. If the roads are passable, they will do their best to get you the food. But Pepperoni Magnifico, if not today, maybe this weekend, check out their magnificent pizza for less than $10. They also have a Pizzoli for less than $6. The pepperoni and sausage is my favorite, and they are a great sponsor for Captain Accurate Weather. So the bigger picture shows all of those flash flood warnings. The ones that are flashing in blue, I guess that's a light blue, maybe a teal. That's the emergency flash flooding. I guess that's more of a new updated, over the last couple of years. The Weather Service now has emergency flash flooding. They have emergency tornado, like a confirmed tornado. That's usually a flashing color as well. Purple, I think we had one around Hancock County just a day or so ago. So again, what we're dealing with today is heavy rain and strong winds. Got some other notes that are coming in on the comments section. I got a note from Tammy Bullock. She wants to know what about tornadoes? Yeah, we've got that concern in places like the Carolinas. I'm going to show you that with the Storm Prediction Center maps, but that's not what we're expecting here today. Because we're in the center of this rainy low round, Tammy. We're not going to be affected by the tornado. It'll be on the periphery. It's going to be out toward places like Fayetteville, North Carolina. They're under a tornado watch. I can see they're kind of a burgundy color. So the area of concern will not be here. I got a note from Wanda. She says, have a family in Florida and North Carolina. Hope they're okay. Prayers for everyone in this path, no doubt. And Kevin is on here. Kevin is one of my pre-members. Kevin Parchment Jr. says the temperatures are nice. Should the football games be good to go tonight as far as the rain goes? Rain's going to be spotty tonight. It's actually going to see, you're going to see vast improvement. I know that's a hard thing to sell because you can talk about winds are going to be still strong at 3, 4, 5 p.m. But by the time we get to 7 p.m., it's probably going to be closer to 5 to 15 mile an hour winds. The winds are going to diminish. It's not going to be calm. I don't want to paint that picture, but it's not going to be as crazy strong as it is going to be during the day today. Because we got Helene. Once Helene gets over toward Bowling Green, moves back toward Paducah, that's going to be most of the weekend. We're watching the leftovers of the storm because Helene has nowhere to go. She just has nowhere to go. Nowhere to go with Helene. She's going to get stalled or caught in the pattern that's parked over Kentucky and Tennessee. So again, this is the radar picture this morning. I want to get further to the cone and get into the specifics as far as where the Hurricane Center has it now. Not much to see beyond this. So it stops short of Chicagoland. The effects of Helene stop short of Detroit, Buffalo. They seem to be okay. Omaha seems okay. And the Gulf of Mexico, after getting slammed last night with catastrophic winds of Category 4. Much of Florida is going to be dealing with cleanup. A lot of power outages, which if I have time and remind me, I will try and get to that before the end of this presentation. It is 6:54. I went a little bit late today. May go a little bit long today. But I want to show you we're now up to 5.80. That's true as of 6 a.m. because we've picked up 0.31 inches as of 6 a.m. this morning. I've added all that together. So 5.8, I mean, we're closing in on 6 inches, and the average is 3.49. Could we pick up another 2, 2.5, 3, maybe even 4? I think it's all on the table because this is tropical rain. I really dove into that last night. Why is tropical rain different? You'll have to check it out, look at that presentation from last night's live stream. But she is a hurricane, no more. Tropical Storm Helene is on your screen. Look at the update. 70 miles an hour, that is the 5 a.m. update. 5 a.m. and it's clearly southeast of Atlanta. I wanted to do this little wide shot so you could see where this storm has been, right? The white lines that are broken shows you where this actually made landfall in the Big Bend area of Florida. It's moved into southern Georgia, and now as we zoom in a little bit tighter with winds of 70, moving north at 30, I mean, that's like you got 70 mile an hour winds around the core, and it's moving at 30. Do the math, 70 and 30, that's 100. So you got some nasty 100 mile an hour gusts still moving across parts of Georgia and South Carolina. It's kind of a big deal. If you're traveling today, it's a nightmare if you're traveling in that direction. And all of a sudden, isn't it funny how this storm could actually go right over Knoxville? well, it's like we weren't in the cone yesterday, but then they put us back in the cone. Do you see why I say there's a pitfall. There's a detriment to focusing only on the blue line to say, I'm in the cone, I'm not in the cone. Because even if you're outside the cone, you have a better chance well outside the cone. Like Fayetteville, North Carolina, a better chance for tornadoes. But LaFollette, Jellicoe, Wartburg, now in the cone. That means the center of Helene, she's coming for a East Tennessee visit. You know, tourism's a big thing around here. Maybe Helene just wants to come for a visit. Because you can see, I can see Clinton in the cone, and now Newport's not in the cone. Jefferson City's right on the edge. Knoxville's definitely in the cone. And that's a pretty narrow cone. So again, I knew no doubt we would feel the effects of this storm, and we're still not even through the worst of the winds yet. So please be mindful of that. Look at this track. By 1 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's over just west of Bowling Green. Once we move into Saturday, into Sunday, winds may be down to 25. It's a remnant low. Like I said, she has nowhere to go. Well, I mean, she's like she's just visiting and coming out of town. She has no place to stay. So she stays over maybe Nashville or Bowling Green. So that's the cone, and then it wants do-si-do back here on Sunday. I have a 60% chance of rain Sunday because it makes another pass in our direction. And you can see where this path has been. It's been all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico and down to the south and east of the Yucatan. It is 6:57. I got to keep moving, but I want to show you where this storm is going to be. Future winds put this around Athens, Georgia. And then look at this. It looks like it goes right into Knoxville. That's very strange. And look at the winds in yellow. Tropical storm force winds around Johnson City and Greenville. So if you're in Greenville outside of the cone, you think, oh, I'm exempt. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to feel these winds, every bit of it today. And then this system looks like this, but in day today, could still have gusts, 45, 50. Hurricane, or the Weather Service thinks it's up to 65. Up to 65. Can't rule that out with the momentum of this storm. And when the sun pops out, you might find those winds really start to kick in. And then this spinning storm sits over maybe Paducah for a couple of days before it tries to come back. I've talked about flooding safety. You may not have flooded roads today, but some of your neighbors may. And if you have flooded roads, we always encourage you to not plow through, but to turn around and don't drown. It saves lives. It's been an expression the hurricane, or rather the National Weather Service, has been used for many, many years, if not decades, and it does prove to be a good safety tip. Make sure that you keep that in mind. I can show you the future rainfall, but these models are no match for tropical moisture, which means any number you see here, you probably could add another inch or two. Probably could add another inch or two to these numbers. And you say, that's amazing. Why would you do it? Because of the fact that you're going to have more raindrops. It's tropical. I went into more detail of that last night and the night before. But you'll see this is a different model. This suggests another 1.3 in Knoxville. Some areas in red in North Carolina could exceed another 4 or 5 inches. So a lot of rain in the area. Traveling may be a little tricky today. If you have the opportunity to work from home, some may choose to do so because we have so much rain that's still in the forecast. And as I've said before, we're not an island unto ourselves. Even Kentucky. Look at western Kentucky. Another 3-4 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain. A lot of rain, and it's because it's tropical. It's going to exceed expectations. It's 6:59. We've got another storm out in the middle of the Atlantic. Could be Joyce, because we have Isaac moving toward Europe. And another 30% chance in around the same area that Helene got started. So we have another, that could be Kirk, Joyce and Kirk, 2 named storms that could come into play in the coming days. That's a 7-day outlook. Here are the names. Isaac, we can cross off. We actually have that in the Atlantic. Joyce and Kirk and Leslie would be on deck. A lot of clouds this morning. You can see them coming into play, but the sun will pop out, which is why I have a little bit of blue sky there as well. 7:28, the sun's up, goes to bed at 7:25. That's the expectation today. Temperatures are at 74 already in Johnson City, but it's 67 in Jackson. Some of those winds you can see wrapping down from Illinois around this low pressure system that's now well east of Atlanta. So this storm is going to be moving rapidly. Was it moving 30 miles an hour? Yeah, it's moving pretty quick. It's not going to be in Georgia all too much longer. Tracking Helene today, gusts 45 to 50 plus at a minimum. See how I did that? 40 to 5. So some of you, just like if I said everybody's going to get the same amount of rain, that's not been the case. So you've had 6, 7, 8 inches of rain since Wednesday. Some of you have not if you're in the plateau. So again, winds are going to depend on track, but at a minimum 45 to 50 plus. Some may be about 60 or 65 here in the valley. And the leftovers of Helene will prevail on the weekend. We got a wind of 18 miles an hour from the north at this point. As you can see, the valley planner takes us up to about 76 today. Normal high this time of year is 79, so we'll be a little warmer today because the sun's going to pop out. and suddenly it will be feeling a little bit warmer, but it's blustery, right? It's wind-driven rain and storms from Helene. Got an 80% chance of rain today. It drops off to 20% tonight, amazingly, right, for if someone's playing football, high school. But 30% chance during the day Saturday, 60% chance on Sunday. It does come back. And the Storm Prediction Center, as I believe the question was about tornadoes, here's where the best chance of tornadoes today will be. It's in orange. It's in places like Wilmington, North Carolina. Myrtle Beach has a better chance of getting a tornado than we do. I know we have strong winds, but the best chance for tornadoes are going to be on the periphery of this rainy low round known as Helene. Some areas in yellow could have a spin-up tornado like Raleigh or Charlotte or areas around Winston-Salem, but they do not put that risk here. There is maybe an isolated severe storm risk in Johnson City, Kingsport. There might be a possible tornado. No tornadoes expected Saturday. You can clearly see some green down in Florida. That's just general thunderstorms. So we're not expecting severe weather tomorrow because I just have a 30% chance of rain and storms. And Sunday, while we do get a 60% chance of storms, nothing is expected to be severe on Sunday. So the worst of the weather is between now at 7:02 to about, say, maybe 5 or 6 p.m. tonight in terms of the wind. Here's where the storm is going. It looks like it's going into Knoxville by my account. It goes right over Knoxville. We're in the cone now. I've always felt like we should have been in the cone, but I have no control over that. That's the Hurricane Center that makes that call. But you can see it does have nowhere to go. It curls around Kentucky. It weakens even further to a remnant low, and then it spins back in, as you can see, spinning into town. And this front comes back on Sunday, so it gets a little more re-energized to produce some more scattered showers. So you can see 5:15 Sunday, it's green in East Tennessee. I've got a 60% chance we get rain on Sunday before things maybe level off a little bit sometime next week. I think Wednesday, Thursday look promising for dry weather. So if you're looking for a beautiful day in Tennessee, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, just hold out. 76 for a high temperature today. Wind-driven rain and storms from Helene. Winds in the morning, northeast. Winds out of the afternoon, southwest. It's going around. That's what's going to happen. 15 to 35 sustained, gusting 45 to 50 plus. 45, 50, I think, at a minimum. 79 for Morristown, 81 in Newport, and 71 in Crossville. Those are my expected highs. If you're traveling today, please be careful. Please be extra careful. Property damage is on the table not only here, but in many of the neighboring states. That means down trees, power lines, the whole 9 yards. It's not going to be pretty if you are traveling south or east. And it could get worse if you're heading west in the coming hours. Tonight, 63. Winds will diminish. Yay, like that. Partly to mostly cloudy. Spots of rain. But the winds will be about 5 to 15. Could be gusting around 25 for the early part of the evening if football is going on. So it's not like that it's calm, but it's not going to be crazy wind once the sun goes down. Tonight, 61 for a low in Morristown, 62 Oak Ridge. Looking for a low in Knoxville of 63. It's now 7:03. I've gone a pretty long, 7:04 now. But Helene, 76 over town with more flooding possible. 74 both Saturday and Sunday. But the chance of rain is twice as high on Sunday. Got a 40% chance of rain on Monday, 20% chance on Tuesday. And then there's the two payoff days. That's Wednesday and Thursday. I think you'll really like Wednesday and Thursday. If you get a chance, check them out because we'll be in the Sunfield. It'll be like Chamber of Commerce type days where people want to get out and show all. But well, they could still have some cleanup over the weekend. I got a note from Marilyn Bell. She says, my husband is in Pensacola and they have got no rain. Wow. Okay, well, it's calmed down there for sure. But there's going to be some cleanup, no doubt, in the path of the Big Bend area. Judy Kerr says, good morning. Thank you for keeping us aware. Be safe if you get on the road. Prayers for everyone affected. Thank you for your note and prayers as well. And I got a good morning from Diane Ladyhawk. She's on here saying hello. Janet Potts also wanting to mention that she says, thank you for keeping us informed. Everyone, please stay safe. Now, I did want to mention power outages since I have time, and you're looking at the 7-day. Let me jump back to that, so bear with me. Let me go back to my radar. Here's a look at 7:05. So you can see there's like a dry spot in Knoxville at the moment, but it's raining pretty steadily in Spring City and Wartburg and Harriman. And keep in mind, a lot of this rain now is tropical rain, so the raindrops might be a bit smaller and it might pile up a lot faster. So the radar reflectivity wouldn't necessarily turn purple or a dark red. You're going to find generally maybe just green and yellow and think, oh, it's just rain. And then you get out there and you say, that was a lot worse than I thought. So be careful on the roads today. Let me go over to my power outages. Let's do county total. And then we'll take off the other alerts. Yeah, there's some county. We have some power outages right now. The worst of it looks like it's around Asheville. here at the 7 o'clock hour. Knox County has 400 people without power. We're over to Sevier County with 100, and towards, say, Greene County, 500. But Asheville, they got 64,000, right? The winds are so bad there, and the flooding is another compounding issue. 64,000 without power. So if you think about it, we're at 400. It's like, well, that's good. That's just them. Well, what's there could come here. I can't emphasize. I mean, this is like the canary in the coal mine. 10,000 here. Bryson City, about 900, but 5,500. There's a lot of people without power. Hendersonville's got 34,000 people without power. So this is one of these things that you're going to be prepared. If you lose power, just expect that you will. Let's assume at the very minimum you get a flickering. But we haven't had the winds like they have there. The winds in places like North Carolina have been stronger thus far. And with Helene moving in this direction, we have reason to be concerned. We have reason to be concerned because of the storm winds and the rains, the wind-driven rain that Helene is actually bringing. Anyway, very thankful for your time. I've gone a little bit late, but I want to make sure that everyone stays safe, and I'll have updates throughout the day on Facebook. I appreciate your time. We'll see you here next time. Take care.